Ivanhoe Radio Yacht Club welcomes skippers to the 2026 IOM World. Welcome.
Welcome.
So just coming up to the first windward gate, and we've got Adam Barbosa in the lead. He's rounded first, and this is race 16, heat E. The cycle has begun again. We've got a great breeze today. I think everybody was expecting a lighter breeze today when the heat came in and the high pressure built, but instead we've probably got the best winds with this flat water of the championship, a combination of A rigs and B rigs, making it beautiful on the water. 20 plus degrees and really good racing. A huge lead there for Adam Barbosa. That's BER 21. And then in second place, always difficult to see who it is on the runs because the sails are side on to us, but the fleet quite tightly bunched after the probably 50-metre lead now. Might be a touch of an exaggeration. Down at the leeward gate, and I've just been out on the water taking photos at the leeward gate, is where the wind is strongest. And it's also when the boats are coming together, and they have been a few loose incidents, and we're going to be posting a photo gallery shortly of just some of the incidents that happened at the leeward mark. We had one boat round backwards after a boat nosedived behind it, went underneath its stern, lifted it up, spun it completely round. The boat was the other side just to make sure it stayed on track going backwards. And then just to add insult to injury, another boat coming round the mark thought I'm doing a perfect rounding, except they then broadsided them. And so this poor boat ended up, as far as I can work out through no fault of its own, having a rather poor rounding from a very good position in Heat A. But we're going to put on a whole photo gallery of that sequence, because with the light so good and beautiful conditions with the Datchet Water Sailing Club in the background, it's going to make quite a sequence. Now, your regular commentator Nigel is taking a very well-deserved break at the moment. I once again take my hat off to him, if I was wearing one, as to just what he's been doing on this commentary. It is not easy to be talking for hour after hour about the racing, but he has done an absolutely sterling job. And so if you do appreciate it, just say in the comments, something in the YouTube comments, also on the Facebook page, just a little thank you to him. And the same goes for the race officials. They're standing out there day in, day out, and making sure that the racing runs smoothly. And even when there are general recalls, just the 2 minutes sequence goes straight in. We saw the black flag for Heat A for the race 15, unsurprisingly, because they really were beginning to push it. That got them away cleanly. Anyway, back to the race. Adam Barbosa still a huge lead, and we've now got Gary McCarthy, Australia 181, looks like he's in second place. Again, starting to get that lift on the left-hand side, closer to the shore. Really nice job by him, just in second place. Adam Barbosa almost looks like he's cruising. He's probably got time to look around with such a big lead. And then we've got 171 behind him. That is Croatia 171. That's, I have no idea how to pronounce it, Duvanchik. And those three look pretty well settled. Remember, the top 6 from Heat E will get promoted to Heat D. So we'll take a look at who else is coming in. We've got BER 15, that's Chuck McMillan's looking pretty safe for a place in the top 5, as well as Sweden 112, Ulf Lindberg. They look like that's 5 of the top 6. Who is going to be 6? We've got Japan 175 is right up there as well, but coming across on port, we have got Chile 74, Pablo Alvarez. He could well be taking the 6th slot. Yeah, he's at the moment just ahead of Japan 175. That's Sam Davidson, who we talked to, one of 2 Woodies in the fleet. We had a good chat with him yesterday. He sails on a lake very close to Tokyo. They've got a really good fleet out there. But it looks like he's just going to miss out on promotion this time. So he'll be staying in Heat E. 7th place it looks like for him. He's taken an early tack though. Yep, he's 7th at the moment. Will he be able to come through? And that lead that Adam Barbosa has doesn't seem like it's going down at all. But he very much looks like he's in cruise control there.
Oh, don't say that. I did that for Josh King.
Yeah, Nigel gave a proper commentator's curse for Josh King. Someone was in cruise control and he said he's absolutely cruising to victory here. And he didn't, did he?
He's wiped out.
And we said on the intro, all of the holiday makers heading off, bank holiday maybe away. Why would you go anywhere when it's like this? You may as well just say, I'm going to cancel my flight from Heathrow, just a mile away. Come to Datchet instead. Some people have affectionately called it a puddle. Why do they race on a puddle? Believe me, this is no puddle, and if it is, then it's bigger than the ones that fill some of the potholes near here. Now Sam Davidson did not have the best rounding right up at the windward mark, and it looks like he's dropped to around 10th, so his chances of promotion not so good. But we've got ITA 14 has made their way up. That's Paolo Patrini. He looks like he's pushing for the 6th slot right now. The wind has dropped a bit compared to the huge gusts that we had earlier, because a few people have switched over to B-rigs in these conditions, and they're looking like they're struggling just a bit at the moment. But it is up and down. You can see bands of pressure just coming down the course. But overall, I think the general adage that you use in a yacht of set for the lulls stands true in the IOM class. And so the majority are sticking with their A-rigs and going very well with it. This is the final beat up to the finish line. Finish line being the black and white boys. I was a little bit caught out by that when we did the live stream of Heat A a couple of hours ago. It's always difficult when you're looking through the screen, because everything looks black and white when you're looking at it. The old snooker commentary: if you're watching in black and white, the blue is the one that's hidden behind the pink. The Datchet water is actually sparkling today, and so you can see the keels quite clearly through it. Nice and clean. Good news since it's drinking water. And yeah, Adam Barbosa just settling on top of Oz 181. That's Gary McCarthy. Just making sure he's tacking at the same time, just to secure that victory and promotion. And then 171 third place, Croatia, Dovancik. And for 4th place, there's a battle between BER 15, Chuck McMillan, and also Sweden 112. That's Ulf Lindberg, who we saw on the last beat. There it is, the finish for Adam Barbosa to take the win. And we've also got, coming across on starboard, we've got Pablo Alvarez. He looks like he's going to take 4th. And so the top 6 are looking pretty settled at the moment. Gary McCarthy's finished 2nd. Croatian Dovancik has finished 3rd, and there we've got Pablo Alvarez looking very safe for 4th, and then it looks like Chuck McMillan should have 5th. He's done a direct tack. He's got the B-rig up, and so he's had to make sure he's tacked directly on top of Sweden 43, I think that is. That's, yeah, that's Eddie Bargett, and Eddie Bargett is going to take 6th, it looks like. Snuck in there, and that's our top 6 promoted to Heat D. And the rest of the fleet will have to wait till the next heat to try and get through, make it up with the promotion, and see who from Heat D is going to end up joining them. Will some of the promoted boats end up getting straight relegated? We will find out.
Same time, same channel. Back in a few minutes.
So we'll catch you again soon. Just going to take a little break here. I'm actually going to go and get my laptop to do some photo editing so that I can put some more photos onto the Facebook page. It's absolutely beautiful out there, and I think I've taken more photos today than I have the rest of the week combined, which will give me a bit of a headache when it comes to the editing, but worth it when the conditions are just so good. See you soon.
Okay, here we go. So this is race 16, Heat D.
And we were just looking at the overall results which have been posted, and it looks like Alexis Carrier has increased his lead to 43 points over Zonko, so almost unstoppable. That's a guaranteed commentator's curse, that one. We'll see see what happens. So here we go, start of the race. The wind is up and we're seeing signs of a southwesterly wind coming in, which has made the course slightly biased to starboard. It's not quite ready yet to move to the other course. I think the race officer is going to have to make an adjustment.
Taking 600 photos.
Oh. So lining up, actually it looks as though it's going a bit port end biased again. The wind's eased. It's funny, the flags and the windsock on this side of the pond is southerly, and there's a windsock about 200 yards away from us in the middle of the reservoir, and it's pointing southwest. So there's a major wind shear here, and they've started, there's been a recall, 2 recalls, so I'm assuming we've had a clean start. So the boats over the line are 15, which is Chuck Milligan from Bermuda, and 116, which is Francisco Martinez. So the boats come in and negotiate the pontoon with that awkward port tack where you have to sail straight into the waves. Now the boats out to the right have got a very nice right-hand shift, so those who are watching the windsocks will have been smart and got out to the right. Down to leeward we've got 31 from France, which is Lionel Massali, and out to windward is, where is he, Bermuda 21, which has got to be Adam Barboza. Yep, indeed. So right is might at the moment, and there's a mixture of A and B rigs, but the A rig of Lionel Massali I think is going to prevail. There's a lot of breeze coming down suddenly and a big right hand lift, so this is a sort of strong southwesterly coming in. I don't think they're laying it in one. I think they'll have had I think some of them have tacked. We'll see what happens to our leader, which is 19 from Germany, which is Norbert Heinz. So he's going to go for the left hand mark, and then he's going to jibe round and he's going to have a load of fun going downwind in this strong breeze. So full A rig, bearing away, avoiding the boats coming up, and Norbert's being a bit conservative, going right round the fleet. There's another big burst of wind coming down the reservoir, so I think we're going to see some excitement here. Lots of fighting at the windward mark, and the leaders just cruise serenely down in light winds. So a real Barney in there. So let's see how they've sorted themselves out. Adam Barboza is leading. Second is the yellow boat 19, which was Norbert Heinz. Right behind him is 31, which is Lionel Massali. And outside him is Graham Elliott. So the A rigs are certainly showing much more power than the B rigs downwind, and they're able to avoid nosediving at the moment. Adam Barboza, oh, do you know, I've spoken too soon again. They both wipe out just before the leeward mark, but they're round safely. So 3 boats gone to the left, and the B rig has gone to the right, taking a chance ploughing through the fleet on starboard with a bunch of boats gyrating wildly. Gosh, brave man. So quite big waves developing, and again on starboard you're sailing across the waves, and then on port tack you're ploughing straight into them. Oh, one boat's just been knocked completely flat, and now he's trying to bear off and got knocked over again. Crumbs. It's hard. 2 boats connected together. I can see the rescue boat is separating number 20, and I can't see the other boat. We'll pick it up in a minute. It's a blue boat. Yeah, it's really tricky trying to separate boats when you're in a high rib. So coming up the beat for the second time is Adam Barboza with a clear lead. Looks like Norbert Heinz is crossing Graham Elliott. So Graham will want to be out of this heat, PDQ, and back where he belongs. 31, Lionel Masali is a good 4th. I think the top 4 have established to date good separation, but we'll see what happens. Of course, if the wind blows on the run and there are some wipeouts, then Norbert Heinz will be in a very strong position because he's got the B rig. The rest, the leading 3, have got A rigs. So we'll see how things pan out. So big gap from 4th to 5th, and then a bunch of boats competing for the 5th and 6th slot in this. And of those boats, there are 71 and 74, which is Gary Bull from America, and 74 Pablo Alvarez from Chile. And then further out we've got 116, which is Francisco Martinez, and then Chuck Milligan has come back into the game. He's come across on a nice lift, and possibly, depending on the wind between here and the mark, he could make a gain. No, I think the boat's inside him, so he's going to be, Chuck Milligan's going to be 7th. So, leading Graham Elliott is through to 2nd. So we've got A rig, B rig, A rig, A rig. A rig's at the windward mark having real trouble. So yeah, 2 A rigs, 1 B rig, 2 A rigs, 3 A rigs. So A rigs are still in the strong positions, and 1 B rig. The leader's just gone round the leeward mark with a very healthy lead. He's gone left. Graham Elliott. Oh, Graham's got his jib caught. Now it's clear. Graham had his topping lift around the spreader. Our leader had a problem just round that mark, so Graham is right on his tail. 3rd boat's round and heading right. 4th boat's going left. 5th boat's going right. So 4th was 31, which was Lionel Masali. So Graham's heading out to starboard a bit. And the boats coming in are ploughing all the way into the shoreline. So we'll see if that pays for them. But I think the first 4 are guaranteed. A-rigs down the down the run are having real trouble. There's a lot of wind and they're just spinning out and spinning out. Wow. So it's definitely a B-rig fest on that run. So Norbert Heinz, I think it was Norbert Heinz, 19. Yeah, Norbert Heinz in his B-rig, doing very nicely. He's settled in 4th. He's just got a out of control boat to negotiate. That's a Proteus, which is acting more like a submarine at the moment. Right, so the first 5 positions are safe. So we've got 21 from Bermuda, Adam Barboza, Graham Elliott from the UK in 09, Norbert Heinz in 19 in the yellow B-rig. 31 was Lionel Massali from France in the blue boat, and then out in the middle of the reservoir, tacking in on starboard, is 71, I think that is. Just focus. Yeah, 71, which is Gary Burl. So they are your top 5, and I think, yeah, 74 is going to be the 6th boat qualifying up, and that is Pablo Alvarez from Chile. So our leaders coming into the line. So there we go, that's Adam Barboza, Graham Elliott just crossing the line, Norbert Heinz, Gary Burl will take the next place, and sorry, I missed, where's he gone? It's Graham, I missed 31, Lionel Massali, I think he was 3rd or 4th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6th place goes to 71, Gary Burl of the USA. So there we go, that's those are our promoted boats. The sun is shining, the wind is good, all is well with the world, and Mark is sifting through a few hundred photographs that were taken this morning. Got some fantastic ones of the AFLEET going around the leeward mark, submarining, crashing into each other. Great action shots. So that's it. We'll see you for Heat C in a few minutes. Welcome back. This is race 16, Heat C. And we've just had an 8-minute delay because of a rig change request. So most of the boats now are on B rig, and we've got 2, 3 optimists, maybe 4 optimists on A rig. And looking at the wind, I think B rigs are probably going to prevail. It'll certainly be much more manoeuvrable. Last time the A-rigs downwind got into all sorts of trouble in the gusts, and the A-rigs are really struggling to manoeuvre correctly. So big gust of wind at the start line at the moment, and it looks like slightly port end biased. And the A-rigs may actually see a bit of wind easing just on the start, but there's more wind to come. Start, and there they go. So the A-rigs are, there's one A-rig that got a reasonable start, in fact 2, one at the most windward end and one at the most leeward end. but the one at the leeward end is going to find it impossible to tack across the starboard boats. So he's going to have to do a huge duck, or he's going to squeeze in between two boats. So that, yeah, he's having to go behind the whole fleet and reach off, and now he can start his beat. So the boats to the right have tacked even further out into the reservoir. Now all but one are back on starboard. So it's B-rigs rule at the moment. Lots of action off the pontoons as people forced onto starboard by the tackers. Graham Elliott is one of those on full rig. He's a very capable sailor, and if anyone can make an A-rig go fast, then it'll be Graham. But the B-rigs are dominating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 B-rigs in front of Graham at the moment. And Graham is just to windward of 87, which is Torsten Fildebrand. Out in, heading the sort of point of the spear going out is Paul Jones, the Australian, and then 113 is Elio Cavello. Craig Richards is out there. Actually, Craig Richards is ahead of Paul Jones. I missed him looking through the binoculars. Craig had a bit of a poor B heat in the previous race and ended up at the back, and now he's got to fight his way through again, but he's comfortably in the hunt for the promotion places. So round the leaders go. Graham Elliott. So we've got 5 B-rigs having gone round the mark, 6 B-rigs, and then Graham Elliott. So Graham's going to be hoping to make some big gains going down the run with his A-rig, hoping that he doesn't get a big gust. And in fact, just as I speak, there's a big gust coming, but not too bad. He's survived. I really am mastering the art of the commentator's curse, but it's quite pleasant conditions now. Graham is taking an inshore route, and it looks like the boats further out are getting more breeze. He's not gaining anything on the B-rigs at the moment, even though the wind is light. The A-rigs that went left have gained 3 or 4 boats. So Graham's just missed the wind. Now he's still holding to the right of the fleet. The boats to windward are losing a little bit of the wind. And Graham's got an absolute belter of a squall coming. Here he goes, he's surviving. He's going to go for the right hand gate, and I think he's making big gains at the end of the run. So he's going to go round 4th, just nipping inside 3rd place. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boats going around the right hand gate, 5 boats going around the left hand gate. So completely split fleet. I'm wondering if the right hand side is paying, because when you sail out on port you seem to be at a better angle to the waves. If you come inshore when you tack onto port, you're just smashing straight into them. If anything, you're getting a little lead bow off the waves. Craig Richards is... Ooh, there was a very close port and starboard there. So Craig is just 2nd at the moment. Graham Elliott in his A-rig He's coming across. He's got a couple of starboard boats to contend, but he's got a nice lift that takes him clear of those. So 09 is in good order, and it's more A rig condition at the moment than B rig. Mark Gollison tacks off the pontoon. 87 from Germany, Torsten Fidelbrand is just behind him. Graham Elliott's got another starboard boat. Oh, I think that might be a call. Mind you, it's Paul Jones of Australia. He may be generous there. Graham's got another starboard boat coming in. He's not going to take the risk. So Craig Richards is back where he belongs, near the front of the fleet. 113, Elio Cavallo is out to the right. Paul Jones is far left. I'd rather be where Elio is than Paul Jones. Paul Jones could take a bit of a hit, because I think there's a lift coming. Let's just watch Elio and see. No, Elio's getting headed. Paul Jones is getting the lift. You just never can tell what's going to happen at this place. Yeah, Paul Jones is on a super lift. But the guys out into the reservoir are getting headed, so that will dampen Paul's hopes. I guess Paul's got to go for the left-hand mark, so he's in the yellow boat 48 on the left. Craig's in the red boat 02 on the right. And they appear to have overstood the windward mark by some distance. Elio Cavallo is going to round in second. So we've got Craig Richards 02, Elio Cavallo, just double check I've got that correct, 113. Yep, Elio Cavallo's second, Paul Jones third. Is that Mark Gollison? Mark Gollison is there, Graham Elliott's there, Graham Elliott's fourth, Mark Gollison fifth, 74 is sixth, Pablo Alvarez. So that's the queue of promoting boats, closely followed by 120 and 87 with a big A rig. Lots of action. Craig's just been overtaken on the downwind leg because the guys to windward of him got a puff. Graham Elliott on his A rig is ploughing through the three B rig boats at the front. So Graham's the grey boat 09, and he might, the wind's died, he might end up as the leader at the leeward mark. We'll see how if he can get a wave and surf, which he's doing, then I think he'll certainly be top six. So the front four have established a gap over 5th and 6th place. Currently Mark Gollison holds the magic 6th position, but he's got 120 Rona Ernst right behind him. Okay, the leaders have gone round the right hand mark with the exception of Paul Jones, who's gone left. And looking up the course, I don't see anything on the right hand side for Paul Jones, but Paul's tacked, so he's now sailing parallel to the leaders inshore, and he's taking a bit of a knock. He's not going to be enjoying that one. Leaders inshore have got a nice lift. Graham Elliott has established a useful lead. We won't say too much about that, just in case I jinx him. Down to leeward of him is Elio Cavallo, and both of those are looking good for, well, they're certainly on the top six. Craig Richards is just to number 2, the red boat is just to windward of 87, and 87 is climbing, so Craig needs to look out there. 87 was Torsten Fidelbrand. Mark Gollison just behind, so Mark Gollison is just still in that valuable 6th position. Still a way to go. At least 2 or 3 shifts between here and the finish. So Graham Elliott is struggling a bit with his A-rig, sheeted well out to keep the speed up. Elio Cavello has tacked out. Doesn't really what happens between now and the mark for these two. They're guaranteed a place. Craig is pretty much guaranteed a place. Paul Jones is there. Where's he gone? Paul Jones. Then we've got 87 with the A-rig just behind. That's Torsten. So let's have a look. There goes our leader. That's Graham Elliott. 110 is second. That's, sorry, double check. That's Elio Cavello. 113. Craig was third. Paul Jones fourth. Mark Gollison fifth. Actually, Mark was sixth. So there's another boat there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I called the top 5. Not sure who was 6. So that's it. That's the sea heat completed. And now we move on in a few minutes to B heat, subject to there being any protests or jury decisions. See you in a minute. Okay, welcome back. This is Heat B race 16. The wind is in exactly the same quarter. Sun is still shining amazingly, not a cloud in the sky, just a little bit of haze very high up. A few gusts coming down just to make life interesting with little left and right shifts still. Now all the fleet are on B rig, with the exception of a couple of British, Martin Roberts and Darren Ballington. I think it was Darren, and Graham Elliott. Josh King is on B rig. Let's see, is that Darren on a, just double check. No, Darren's on a B rig. I'm align him. So it's Graham Elliott on a, there's just trying to see the A-rigs, there's a blue boat, 49, Gerald Rogevu is on A-rig, and there's a grey boat, oh, and 46, which is Sean Bradley from the US, and I think they've abandoned that start, not sure. Everybody seems to be in a fairly relaxed thing. Oh, and a jib tie down has just broken, or he's lost his rig tension. So that's on 50, I think that's 54. So he'll be desperate to get back. 64. So that is Barbatza. So he's got to get that in and repaired. I can't quite see what's broken on it. Looks like he's just got to tighten up the top of the jib luff, or the string is broken at the top, I'm not quite sure which. So there's a new start sequence. 87 on an A-rig that's Torsten Fildebrandt. He's just doing a quick tweak on his tuning. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A-rigs. Let's see how they do. Bar is off the water, just readjusting, trying to tighten up that jib luff. He's got to hope for another general recall. So plenty of wind down on the start line. I think that was 50 seconds. "40 seconds to go." I think that was 30, so the boats at the port end have got quite a long time to burn. I'd say the most right-hand boat is not going to make the start. Unless he can get, yeah, he's not going to make the start. He's got to bail out and go behind the fleet. There we go, he's hit the mark. As has the boat behind him. So it looks like it might be a clean start. There was a recall of 2 boats. They were the ones at the port end. No, that must be an abandoned start. Must be a general recall. We can't hear the signal very clearly here because it's being blown away.
It's a general recall.
Yeah. So the wind's varying between about 8 miles an hour in the lulls to 17 in the gusts. There's a picture up on Facebook of the anemometer readout that we have in the club. Gives you the wind strength over a period of time, so you can see exactly the conditions the competitors are facing. While we're waiting, I'll give a big shout out to Thames Water. Ultimately, they allow Datchet Sailing Club and therefore us to use their water, and it's a great facility, very open water. Interestingly, some of the guys from Barkarati called this a puddle that you see coming into Heathrow. Thames Water must have heard that, because they're going to make one 4 times the size of Datchet in Oxfordshire. At least that's the plan, which would be a massive patch of water. Great to sail on. So here we go. Thank you, Thames, for letting us play. Coming into the start, any ideas how long?
7,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, gun. This looks like a clean start.
No, it doesn't.
Of course, your commentator is always accurate on the facts. So back they go for another attempt. This time, I think flag, 30.4. Yep, that's going up. The flag with 2 red and 2 white squares on it. So anyone over the line, anyone between the ends of the start line and the windward gate, will be disqualified from the next start. But if they have another general recall, they're okay, they get to play again. Now the good news on the wind direction is we've lost any sign of a southwesterly breeze coming in. The flags are all pointing due south, which is really good news for the race officer. There was one point where we looked as though we might be moving course.
1 minute 20.
Right, 1 minute 20 to go, and the fleet get themselves into position for the next start. A lot of sail flapping, a lot of stationary positioning for the next minute.
1 minute to start.
And a big gust forces its way through the start line. It looks as though it's gone left a bit. I think they're going to struggle to make the port end of the line. So the place to be is going to be right down on the pin. But there's plenty of time to go, and there's a lot of wind blowing you sideways. We have 2 A rigs and 4 B rigs, 5 B rigs at the port end. And they're all struggling, so we have, I think we've got 4 boats that are going to have to bail out. 3, 2, 1. Great start by Graham Elliott on the another general recall. God. So will we see the black flag? Yeah. No sign of it. Oh. Okay, we're now under the black flag. Anyone over the line is disqualified from this and any subsequent start. So it should make the fleet a bit more sheepish on the start line. Talking of sheep, we have no sheep in view today. When we were up on the southwest bank, there was a whole flock of them. And I think we were saying that at some point the sheep were moving faster than the boats on the water. But
they were delicious.
They were delicious, says Mark. Right, 1 minute 40. They get themselves into position yet again. On the pontoon is Josh King, just doing a quick tweak to his boat. He'll be out in plenty of time given this wind.
1 minute 20.
1 minute 20. There's an A-rig there, just tried to do a jibe and put its nose straight in the water. So I think the A-rigs are going to be challenged somewhat if they get a gust downwind. Opportunity for Mark to get more pictures of boats. Boats diving.
Not struggling a bit.
50 seconds to go. Wind in a perfect direction. Just want to get these boats off the start line, and then we'll have a nice race on our hands. Don't forget, it is black flag. If you're between the, well, if you're over the line or extensions of it, I think it's extensions, you're disqualified from all subsequent. You're disqualified and have to leave the race course. So they're lining up. 4, 3, 2, 1, and away they go. Do we have a clear? Nobody going back. I think we're all clear. That's a good start. Fleet all in a line heading towards the pontoon, which is about 50 yards in front of them or less, closing in on it rapidly. So we have on the right, we've got USA 46 and Darren Ballington, and they've both been allowed to tack out on port. 46 I think was Sean Bradley. Struggling a bit with his A rig. The B rigs ploughing out. Craig Richards has got a nice position. He's ahead of the port hand boats, and he looks as though he might be just clear of the starboard boats. There's one coming in looking dangerous. Craig has tacked. So right out to the centre of the reservoir is Martin Roberts in 22. So he's taken a big, his strategy is just go right, head out on port, tack and then sailing effectively one tack to the windward mark. And behind him is 149, which is Peter Tan, and they're sailing in really good pressure at the moment. The fleet inshore under the near the reservoir wall have a little less wind. Now the wind's died further out. Graham Elliott is leading the bunch on the left hand side nearest the wall. So who's going to be first? Is it going to be Martin Roberts right out in the reservoir, or is it going to be Graham Elliott and Craig Richards? There's a big righty, so it's going to be neck and neck between. So boats going round. Martin Roberts got round first. 87 second, which was 87 was Torsten Fildebrand. Then it was Graham Elliott. Then it was Craig Richards. But the A rigs are powering down. So the B rigs have got to hope the A rigs get a big squall. Australia, 46. No, is that 46? I can't see the numbers now because of the angle. We'll have to wait until they get further down. So yeah, USA 46, that's Sean Bradley. He's powered through Craig. So we've got A rig, A rig, A rig, A rig, A rig, and then B rig. What does that tell you? Bit of a gust coming down. Let's see if we get the carnage we had in the A fleet with the A rigs. First two round, Graham Elliott's going round to the right. Then Sean Bradley, and going round to the left, trying his luck, is .149, which was Peter Tan. So who's going to come out of this well? So we've got, it's reading from the front, Torsten Fildebrand in 87. Sean Bradley, I think 46 USA is Sean Bradley. Have to keep double checking because I want to make sure I get the names right. Then on the left, on the right, we've got Martin Roberts in the other A rig. Josh King further out to sea. So all the A rigs in a line across the lake. And the wind's starting to blow a bit, but I think it's still A rig on balance. Paul Jones has pulled his boat off the water. Not quite sure what's happened there. So he's a retirement. Alright, so back to the fleet. Torsten is still leading. Sean Bradley and Martin Roberts are going to fight it out for second and third. Graham Elliott is third or fourth, depending on the wind shift. Craig is just behind. Mark Gollison is next, 149. Peter Tan is following. Now there could be some changes because any wind shift coming into the mark could affect the positions. So what we'll do is we'll watch them round the mark. Torsten's had to put in a tack, which will cost him quite a lot of time, but he's just going to round first ahead of USA 46, which is Sean Bradley. Craig snuck round second, Graham Elliott third, Martin Roberts fourth. Everybody going round the right hand mark at the moment. A bit of a bundle there. Josh King sixth, Lunaning Chen seventh, 149 with the A rig. Peter Tan behind Lunaning. So we have A rig, A rig, A rig, B rig, A rig, and then B rig, B rig, A rig. So I think the A heat will be leaving their A rigs up. Oh, looks like we have another retirement. And that is I think it's a retirement. Well, they're just practicing. They're carrying on racing. I think he might have had a problem with his boat. 142 came into the dock. He's a long way behind, but he's got to finish if he's not counted as a retirement. So round the leeward mark, Graham Elliott has Torsten has a good lead. Both Torsten and Graham have grey boats. Just looks like Sean Bradley is just ahead of Graham, but Sean's fallen off to leeward a bit, so I don't know whether he can tack in front of Graham. So you've got Graham, then behind Graham, I think that's Martin Roberts. Sean Bradley's tacked and in a good order. So the first two boats are sailing on a very high port tack, almost at the finishing line. Martin Roberts. So we've got Torsten, Sean Bradley, Martin Roberts, Graham Elliott, Craig, and then there's a significant gap behind those front five. And behind, they're being led by Josh King. Always tough getting out of B heat. And Lunanin Cheng is just one position outside getting up to the A heat. So she's got to overtake Josh King in 126, the dark blue boat, to make sure she gets a qualification position, or a promotion position rather. And we have a rather irritating windsurfer who's looks as though he's almost trying to sail across the course, but I think the rescue boat's guarding him. So coming into the finish, yeah, it's Sean Bradley first, Graham Elliott second, Torsten third, Martin Roberts fourth, Craig Richards coming in fifth, and then there's the gap to Josh King. Now Josh could be in trouble here. There's a massive header and the boat behind him is getting a massive lift, but he tacks on to starboard and all is well. So Josh King will fill the sixth position. Just There he goes, Josh King, and Lunanin Chen comes across 7th. Robert Matulja, he's still in B heat. He won't like that. He was one of the top 10, and I think that'll be a big score to add to his tally. And that's it. So next race will be the big boys, where we'll do a live stream on the first beat and the last beat with Mark Jardine. Speak to you then.
We are going into race 16, heat A, and this is the 4th attempt of this start. We have had 3 general recalls, 1 under U flag. It doesn't look like there are any flags up at the moment if I just pan across to the race team there. Now in race 14, our leader, Alexis Carre, had his worst race result with a 14th, but he came storming back in race 15 with a race win. Nigel, how are the rest of the top 5 looking?
So he's closely, well, it's a big gap down to Zonko, and then there's a close gap between Rob Walsh, Peter Feldman, Romain Dubreuil, and then Robert Matulja is some way, it's close behind, as is Peter Stollery, and then there's a gap to Brian Shaw's.
Now today we are on the clubhouse course, so we are right in front of Datchet Water Sailing Club. And so all of the people who've come on this beautiful day have got a great view of the racing, and the conditions have truly surpassed expectations. So we are having absolutely superb racing. That was 20 seconds to go. Let's see if this time they can get away.
So on the left-hand end, we've got our race leader, Romain Dubreuil. Sorry, our race leader, Alexis Carre. And just under him is Carlos Beltri, and they're off. And it's another general recall.
And that's general recall number 4?
4, I think, yeah. Now, interestingly, the boats to the right, I think, have the advantage. So I'm surprised there was such a fight for the port end of the line. Because the danger of the port end of the line is you come in after 50, 80 yards, you've got the pontoon to navigate. So we go into another start sequence. Let's see what the race officer does. So straight in, and I think there is a black flag. So the fleet now have to behave, otherwise they're disqualified, and a disqualification at this stage is a massive penalty.
Big pressure coming down here now.
Yeah. We are going into race 16, heat A, and this is the 5th attempt of the start. And if we just pan round to the race box there, the black flag has been raised. Anybody who is over the line will be disqualified from this race start and any subsequent restarts of the race. Now our leader, Alexis Carre, had a bad race 14, his worst of the event in 14th, but came storming back with a win in race 15 and now leads by an astounding 43 points. Nigel, how are the rest of the top 5 looking?
So 43 points behind is Zonko Jelicic. Close behind him is Rob Walsh, and also in the hunt Peter Feldman, Romain Dubreuil and Robert Matulja, along with Peter Stollery, and then there's quite a gap to Brian Shaw's.
Now we've got quite a squall come down, and the majority of the fleet are on A rigs. Will this favour those who've decided to go for the B rigs? We've had some huge gusts coming through, but they say set for the lulls, but some of these gusts are big. Is everybody actually hanging back this time? The black flag usually causes a little bit of caution.
Yeah, down at the leeward end we've got Zonko, Rob Walsh,
1, go.
and they're away. At
No
last.
more whistles. We could actually be away on the 5th attempt of race 16 Heat A. We're up in the Crow's Nest at Datchet Water Sailing Club, so we get this great view of the fleet from above.
Pablo Walper is the most lured boat. Being squeezed out is Sean Bradley, Sean Bradley of the USA. Zonko is just a little back, and he's got Carlos Beltri in front of him. Rob Walsh has got a nice start, and best of all is Peter Feldman in his B rig, and he's now beginning to nose out ahead by a few yards. Just to windward of him is Josh King. Oh, big crash between Jan Springer and Ante. Oh, and Jan Springer's hit 93 as well. So he's got to do, well, he should do 2 turns. That's clearly on the video, so I'm sure the umpires have seen that. I think he's going to get the whistle blown on him. So out in the middle is Alexis Carre. Now, how's that going to work out for him? So inside is Craig Richards in 02 in the red boat, and so is Rob Walsh. So Alexis Carre is going to need a favourable wind shift to be able to come across and clear the fleet. He tacks now, as do half the boats on the right hand side, or most of the boats on the right hand side.
We've got 2 distinct packs right now. Here is the fleet coming in on starboard from the right, and then those on the left, and those on the left look to have gained the advantage here.
Yeah, Alexis Carre has really got on the wrong side of that shift, and he's like the race where he finished 14th. He's a little bit in the back, but he's now getting a lift, and there's a lot of breeze. There'll be a lot of action in this race because downwind they're really going to struggle, especially those with the A-rig. So we'll see how they develop. Coming into the windward mark, it is Craig Richards leading round, Peter Feldman second, Rob Walsh third with the A-rig, Graham Elliott fourth, 121, which is Carlos Beltri, the red boat. Then down to leeward, you've got Sean Bradley in 46, and then outside him you've got 17, which is Steve Landau from the USA.
We will pick up later on in this race. We're going to post this video on the Facebook page. The full videos are available to watch on YouTube. We have to upload those overnight, and then you'll be able to watch the whole lot, but all previous days' videos available online.
So coming down to the leeward mark, Rob Walsh has just squeezed past Craig Richards. Rob's got the A-rig. O2 has got a B-rig, so let's see if there's a squall before the mark. That might help Craig. So it looks like Rob is going to go for the right-hand mark, as is Craig. There's a lot of wind up in the crow's nest. Just going to move the mic in a bit so I don't get blasted. So everybody's going round the right-hand mark and beating up. They're all coming to the shoreline. So you can see there's a big red buoy in the way. If they go about 20 yards past that, they can tack nicely and clear the pontoon. So Peter Feldman's tacked up onto port. Rob Walsh is following. Craig is continuing in a bit. And then there's a stream of boats going out to the left-hand side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But they are all at the back, so I think they're on a sort of Hail Mary mission. So we've still got the top three, Peter Feldman, Rob and Craig Richards going well. Graham Elliott's in there, and just to windward of him, I've forgotten his number, I think it's Steve Landau, 17. Yep, Steve Landau. And then just to leeward of them is USA 46, which is Sean Bradley. Pieces of paper are falling out of my folder. Oh. Sorry about this, just rescuing paper. So how are we doing? 44 is, so the leaders, top three, have opened up a bit of a gap. So that's Craig Richards, Peter Feldman and Rob Walsh. And then close behind is Graham Elliott. Coming in shore, 121 is 126 is Josh King. And he's closely followed by 17 of the USA, Steve Landau, on an A rig. So Josh is on a B rig, Steve Landau on an A rig, and Steve is now attempting to cross his compatriot 46, Sean Bradley, and he's going to have to tack. Further out, we have Graham Elliott, Josh King, Carlos Beltry. Then we've got 4 boats in a row. We've got 93, which is Sorensen from Denmark, 77, Romain Debray, Ante in 30, Pablo Wolper in 13. Now, where is our overall leader? Has he managed to sneak in? He's out in the middle of the reservoir again. He tried that before. Let's see if he has any success this time. Looks like there's pressure coming down to him. It's just a question of whether it's going to lift or head. It's not doing him any favours at the moment. Boat behind him on starboard is getting a nice lift, but he's just getting headed. Yeah, our overall leader is struggling a bit. I don't think he's under any threat of demotion, but he's not getting the result he wants. So in the meantime, Craig Richards is leading, so the B rig is obviously working effectively up the beat. Peter Feldman second, Rob Walsh is third, so Rob will catch them downwind.
This thing will finish,
yeah? Just tap when you need it. So Sean Bradley is behind, then Josh King, then Graham Elliott, and Steve Landau, and then Ante, and Denmark 93, Sorensen, let me get his first name, Soren Andersen, sorry, not Sorensen, Soren Andersen. Sorry, Soren. Good.
Okay, this is race 16, Heat A, and the leaders are approaching their final leeward gate. Now, Nigel, how is the leaderboard looking in this race?
Oh, the leaderboard, what, for this race? Yeah. So we've got Craig Richards first, we've got Rob Walsh second, we've got Peter Feldman third, Sean Bradley fighting it out with Graham Elliott. Then we have Steve Landau, I think 17. Yep, Steve Landau. So there's going to be a bit of bunching around the mark. And then we have, Soren Andersen's jibed inside Romain Debray. And then we have our overall leader, Alexis Carey, coming in, and he's still back, and he could be at risk of demotion here.
Am I right in thinking, though, that he is actually ahead in this race, ahead of Zonko?
No, that's Romain Debray. Oh, he's ahead of Zonko. Yes, you're right. So both Alexis and no, that's where's he gone? I've lost him.
Move across to the leaders in this race. So we've got coming inshore. Who have we got this?
Whereabouts? Down here. Right, inshore
down.
We've got Craig Richards. We have Rob Walsh and we have Peter Feldman. and Sean Bradley from the US, and then there's Graham Elliott coming in behind Sean. The two starboard boats are Josh King, and 17 is Steve Landau.
And how about this offshore group? We've got this group of 5 boats who have taken a very different route from the rest of the fleet.
Right, we have Alexis Carre is coming in. He looks as though he's had a huge game. So further out, you've got Peter Stollery in the orange boat. You've got Jan Springer in the green boat. You've got Olivier Cohen right out to the left in 100, and then just under them is Pablo Wolper in 13. And
now
then
I'm going to
Ante
move across to the finish line because we have
a winner.
A winner.
So Craig Richards gets the whistle. Now it's between Rob Walsh and Peter Feldman.
Looks like Rob Walsh is going to get this one.
Yeah, I think Rob's got it. So Rob second, Peter Feldman third.
Peter Feldman putting together really quite a consistent series there. And who's this in fourth?
46, that's Sean Bradley. Then Josh King. Then Steve Landau. Then Graham Elliott. Romain Debray.
And
Soren Anderson.
On port, I believe that is
Guillermo Beltri.
Alexis came across on port. Yeah, 73.
So he's made a huge recovery, I think.
We've seen that a few times from him.
Yep, agreed. There goes Olivier Cohen. Yeah.
So some big gusts we saw in that race.
That was
a lot of A rigs, but the B rigs did pretty well in that. So it's in the lulls. They were trying to make the gains with those A rigs, but really difficult to control. Remember, the full video of this will be on YouTube later. As the event starts to reach its conclusion, this is the penultimate day. That was race 16, Heat A.